So are we in for a nasty surprise on unemployment tomorrow? That story topping tonight's 2-minute drill. We have Penn Financial's Matt McCall, Republican Fox News contributor Andrea Tenteros, and Democratic Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. They all join us now. Let's fire up the clock. The Super Bowl of jobs reports comes out tomorrow, and Wall Street is expecting a gain of about 150,000 jobs last month. But the Bears are worried that the number could come nowhere close to that because of the way that labor tallies have gone so far. Not only that, but January typically sees layoffs from the retail sector. So what will we hear from the Labor Department tomorrow morning? Matt, do a little guessing here.
I'm going to take the bullish stance here. I think we come in closer to 170, 180. So I think we actually beat it. The market hits a new high on the news because
Could the market actually take that news, and would that trump the Egypt news if Egypt is bad?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Egypt, as important as that is, it's not on the homeland here. So the jobs, that's the #1 mover of the economy.
What do you think happens tomorrow?
171, 180 still isn't that great. I mean, look, you need at least 150,000 jobs a month, according to the Wall Street Journal, at pace, not even in a recession. And I usually don't quote Paul Krugman, but he's really boxed the administration in on this one, David. He said that they need to at least produce 300,000 jobs a month to be on some kind of growth. So I'm not sure it's going to be as rosy as the administration
Leslie, my head is
needs it to
spinning,
be.
though, because Andrea is quoting Paul Krugman. I don't understand this at all.
Yeah, I think I need a cocktail. No, basically, we are looking at, I believe, above 150,000, and I'll take that 170,000 plus. Yeah, 300,000 would be nice, but we need to be realistic. This is a race between the tortoise and the hare, and the tortoise is going to win. The economy is going to win. The American people are going to win. But the bottom line is growth, slow and steady. Slow and steady, and that's where we're at.
Well, Matt is nodding his head. The market wants exactly that. Texas is warning citizens that rolling blackouts may continue in the wake of a big blizzard and frigid cold that hit there just yesterday. Engineers are quoted as blaming Texans' heavy reliance on wind power. Texas brags about being the top wind power producer in the nation, but because of the ice storm and lack of wind turbines reportedly producing very little or no energy right now. More evidence that over-reliance on green energy is not such a good idea. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Texas is dealing with some really inclement weather, so they're not used to this kind of thing. But it just goes back to President picking winners and losers. Should he really be, and should Washington be, putting all their chips on the green energy sector? And he's not just picking winners, David, with green energy. He's picking losers. He's going against the oil companies and crude when it's the only really competitive source on the market.
Well, Leslie, what I love is that oil-rich Texas is depending so much on wind power.
I remember when I saw this topic earlier, David, I'm like, Texas are relying on wind power. But here, this is not about, okay, we're too green and that's the problem, at least in Texas, with wind. This is about poor planning, because what they did in the midst of this ice storm is their non-green dependence, if you will, in Texas. They took 100% across the board to make adjustments and to make changes and improvements, and you don't do this. This is a transition on every level in the state of Texas and otherwise. So
Leslie used the word planning. Isn't this a problem of central planning? That's the problem I have with all these green energy programs. It's central planning. Central planning doesn't work. You have to let the market work its course.
What happened is the government's forcing these states to go green. T. Boone Pickens is the oil man is a big reason there's so many wind farms in Texas, believe it or not. But the problem is we can get the wind turbines in, but we don't have the technology yet to turn that power into the power that we need for the homes. So the government pushing this before the private sector jumps in is the exact point.
All right. Well, new regulations are coming in, but the government keeps letting companies out. First, it was health care. The administration given nearly 800 unions and companies waivers from the law. Now it is global warming. The EPA just exempting a huge power plant project from new clean air rules. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? General Electric was the one who got the exemption. The CEO, Jeff Immelt, is Obama's job czar. So, Leslie, looks a little like cronyism here.
No, this is called politics, David. Come on. Are we
it's the
not
same
surprised?
thing, Leslie. Come on.
This happens left or right. I mean, maybe GE has earned it. I mean, I have to say there's no other company in the United States that pays lower taxes. I'd like to be in on their accountant, I'll tell you.
Well,
this
again,
is not
if you have the right friends,
crazy. It's not
if you have the right friends in a White House, man.
Yeah, I mean, how can you say GE earned this, Leslie? Because Immelt's in with Obama, they earned it? I don't believe that at all. I think this comes down to, it proves a bigger point that really maybe we're not ready to be pushing this regulation on a private sector right now, because by pushing this, you could end a couple of these expansions like we're talking about.
And when you have central planning, you end up with crony capitalism.
Well, that's exactly right. They didn't earn it, they bought it. You look at GE's lobbying for cap and trade, they spent $18 million in 2008 alone. Look, here's the issue, David, with the carve-outs. I can understand why businesses want tax exemptions, and I can understand why unions want to keep costs low for their members. What's so appalling is that they spend millions lobbying to impose all these restrictions on everybody else, only to exempt themselves.
Whoever it is, whether it's GE or the big oil companies or whomever. Coming up on deck, the king of confrontation, John McEnroe, is here, scoring the politics of incivility. You don't want to miss this special edition of Playmakers. That's coming next. And there is still time to vote. Hackers are more powerful than Egypt's government censors. We sure hope so. If you do, it's a buy. If you don't, it's a sell.
Two fairly good players by the name of Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi are playing after us. So
okay.
I guess you call us the opening act.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Woody,
being
thanks
here.
for having me.
Thank you very
Woody,
much.
we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Still time to vote tonight's buy, sell, or hold. Text your answer to 369-249. Buy, sell, or hold. We take the names and stories in the news. We treat it as if they're stocks. Would you buy them, sell them, or hold them? Well, they say everyone has a double, and actress Megan Fox, one of the world's most beautiful women, says she knows who she looks like. You're not going to believe it. Steve Buscemi. That's right, the guy to right. He is the star of Boardwalk Empire. Fox says when she was younger, she was a dead ringer for Buscemi, and we say thankfully she grew out of that. Well, Megan Fox looking like Steve Buscemi. Matt?
Anything with Megan Fox is a buy, but how can a beautiful woman like that ever look like? I love Buscemi, but really.
I don't know, but
Look,
sometimes
this woman is
people
so
change.
hard on herself. She always makes these comments, putting herself down.
maybe that's
So I
it.
buy her humility in Hollywood. It's refreshing, but she is one hot woman. There's no way I'm buying
Okay,
this.
she says it's a sell. What do you say, Les?
I say it's a sell. I mean, she's hot and I am straight, and Steve Buscemi does nothing for me.
Although, you know what? People do change. The ugly duckling story. I mean, it happens all the time. I love Steve Buscemi, by the way. We'd love to have him on Scoreboard. And Scoreboard says it's a buy. Okay, if Tiger Woods had Tiger Text, he might still be the most dominant player in golf. The new Tiger Text app allows you to send and receive text messages, but then, get this, they discreetly disappear in 30 to seconds after they're read. They don't remain on the phone, so they are easy to hide. Next month, Tiger Text will allow users to send pictures as well, which could save some football quarterbacks.
This is such a buy for capitalism. I mean, what a great idea. I mean, I could always use
One
something like
buy.
I'm going to buy it for business
Oh, I saw you looking at your cell there, though.
Because you know what? We know it's going to what it's going to be used for.
Of course we do. Leslie, what do you think? Buy, sell, or hold?
I'm going to say sell. How am I supposed to keep tabs on who my husband's texting with this feature? Come on,
that is the point. And, you know, again, I don't approve of what it's used for, but you got to say it's a buy. It's a brilliant idea, and apparently this thing is going to sell. All right, the SEC asking for a budget increase, but they may not get it because, get this, the agency itself didn't keep accurate books for the past 7 years. The Government Accountability Office saying the SEC failed to track fines, fees, and the return of ill-gotten profits. Last year's budget was $1.1 billion, but they say they need to do more financial reform in their agency before they get their money. The SEC failing to keep their records straight.
I have to say buy because obviously they regulate my business, so I don't want any ill thing with the SEC.
Come on.
No, their track record has been pathetic. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Leslie, they're not keeping good records themselves.
I agree. Sell. For crying out loud, it's a bad economy. You don't reward bad behavior.
Absolutely. I agree with you as well. It's a sell, and Scoreboard says it's